Recent days have seen a flurry of claims and counterclaims regarding the situation along the front lines in Ukraine, particularly concerning the Kursk Oblast. Russian President Vladimir Putin stated during a press conference on March 13 that Russian forces had isolated Ukrainian forces in the Kursk Oblast. He further asserted that it would be impossible for small groups of Ukrainian forces to withdraw from their positions in that area. Putin went on to say that if Russian forces could establish a physical blockade in the coming days, Ukrainian forces would not be able to leave Kursk at all. The following day, during a Russian Security Council meeting on March 14, Putin reiterated that Russian forces had blocked unspecified Ukrainian forces in the Kursk Oblast. However, these claims have been met with strong denials from the Ukrainian side. The Ukrainian General Staff reported on March 14 that Russian authorities were fabricating these claims about the alleged encirclement of Ukrainian forces in the Kursk Oblast. They stated that this disinformation was intended to influence the political and informational landscape. Contrary to the Russian assertions, the Ukrainian General Staff reported that Ukrainian forces had successfully regrouped and withdrawn to more advantageous defensive positions within the Kursk Oblast. Furthermore, they emphasized that Ukrainian forces were not under any threat of encirclement. Interestingly, observations from the Institute for the Study of War, or ISW, have not found any geolocated evidence to support the Russian claims of a significant number of Ukrainian forces being encircled in Kursk Oblast or anywhere else along the front line in Ukraine. This independent assessment casts further doubt on the veracity of the Russian statements. The narrative within Russian millblogger circles also presents a nuanced picture. While some Russian millbloggers did claim on March 12 and 13 that Russian forces had encircled an unspecified number of Ukrainian forces in an unspecified area of Kursk Oblast, this view has not been universally adopted. Many Russian millbloggers published maps on March 13 and 14 that acknowledged the existence of viable egress routes for Ukrainian forces into Sumy Oblast from their remaining positions in Kursk Oblast. This suggests that even within pro-Russian information channels, there is no widespread agreement on the encirclement of a substantial Ukrainian force in Kursk. Notably, at least one Russian millblogger explicitly questioned the claims of encirclement on March 12. Another Russian millblogger expressed frustration on the same day that Russian forces were unable to encircle Ukrainian forces in Kursk Oblast because they lacked the capability to conduct rapid, mechanized breakthroughs into rear Ukrainian areas. This internal debate within the Russian millblogger community further undermines the definitive claims made by President Putin. It is worth noting that the ISW suggests that these millbloggers may alter their reporting in the coming days to align with Putin's statements. Beyond the specific situation in Kursk Oblast, a broader assessment of the front lines suggests that Russia is facing considerable challenges. According to Ukrainian military expert Roman Svitin, a retired colonel and flight instructor, Russia is experiencing serious problems across the entire front line, particularly a shortage of personnel and equipment. Svitin stated in an interview with 24 Kanal on March 15, 2025, that this situation has allowed Ukrainian forces to counterattack and regain lost positions. He highlighted the area near Pokrovsk as being particularly positive for Ukrainian forces. Svitin emphasized that Russian forces across a vast stretch of the front, from Velika Novosilka in the Donetsk region all the way to Kupiansk in the Kharkiv region, are feeling the strain and are in need of manpower, equipment, ammunition, and aviation support. He noted that the stabilization of the front by Ukrainian forces has led to a depletion of Russian reserves. Svitin specifically mentioned successful Ukrainian actions south of Pokrovsk and in the Velika Novosilka area, where Ukrainian forces have pushed back Russian troops, recovered lost ground, and prevented the occupation forces from expanding their front line. These observations suggest a more fluid and contested battlefield than the Russian claims of encirclement in Kursk Oblast might imply. Amidst the ongoing military actions, Ukraine is actively engaged in diplomatic efforts to de-escalate the conflict and seek peace. On March 14, 2025, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky addressed the nation, outlining a day of intensive diplomacy and negotiations aimed at bringing peace closer. A central point of these discussions is a proposal from the U.S. for an unconditional ceasefire in the sky, at sea, and on the front lines. President Zelensky stated that Ukraine accepts this proposal, viewing it as a potential starting point for a swift move towards guaranteed security, an end to the war, and a reliable peace. He commended the work of Ukrainian teams at a meeting in Saudi Arabia and noted ongoing contacts with the U.S. side, emphasizing Ukraine's commitment to a constructive approach. President Zelensky stressed the importance of continued pressure on Russia to also adopt a constructive stance and to cease what he described as Russian manipulations that only serve to prolong the war. He expressed gratitude to all those supporting Ukraine's efforts towards peace and acknowledged the positive reception of Ukraine's position in various discussions. President Zelensky detailed a series of diplomatic engagements on March 14th. He spoke with Cardinal Parolin, the Vatican's Secretary of State, expressing thanks for the Vatican's support and prayers for Ukraine and peace. They discussed the realistic possibility of saving lives through a ceasefire, as well as the crucial issues of liberating Ukrainians held in Russian captivity and the return of deported adults and abducted children. A conversation also took place with Patriarch Bartholomew, who conveyed his support for the Ukrainian state and people and for Ukraine's diplomatic efforts. Further diplomatic outreach included a conversation with American pastor Franklin Graham, president of the Billy Graham Evangelistic Association. President Zelensky expressed his appreciation for Pastor Graham's support and prayers for peace in Ukraine, recognizing his voice as an important one for peace within the U.S. A discussion was also held with French President Emmanuel Macron, who, according to President Zelensky, possesses a detailed understanding of the situation and offered valuable ideas. Their conversation covered the current state of diplomacy, available options, technical aspects of monitoring a potential ceasefire, and possible next steps in diplomacy and in protecting Ukraine and Europe. President Zelensky noted France's clear support on issues of security guarantees, the situation on the ground, and potential developments. He also mentioned a scheduled conversation with President Erdogan of Turkey to inform him of Ukraine's position on the ceasefire and its readiness for quick and honest diplomacy aimed at ending the war. Looking ahead, President Zelensky announced that a summit of European partners would take place the following day, where Ukraine would present its position and provide real information about current developments, including the situation on the front line, in the Kursk region, and in all their contacts with partners. He underscored that security, peace, and Ukraine's independence remain top priorities. In recognition of the ongoing struggle, President Zelensky concluded his address by honoring Ukrainian warriors with state awards, expressing pride in all of Ukraine's heroes. The information available suggests a complex and dynamic situation on the ground. While Russia claims to have encircled and blocked Ukrainian forces in the Kursk Oblast, these assertions lack independent corroboration and are directly contradicted by Ukrainian military reports and the assessments of some Russian millbloggers. Simultaneously, broader reports indicate that Russian forces are facing significant challenges across the eastern and southern fronts, leading to Ukrainian counterattacks in certain areas. Amidst this backdrop, Ukraine is actively pursuing diplomatic avenues, most notably through the U.S. proposal for a comprehensive ceasefire, engaging with a wide range of international actors to garner support for peace and security. The coming days and weeks will likely be crucial in determining the trajectory of both the military and diplomatic efforts.